In this video, we'll take a look at an answer for Lab 6-1. So first of all, let me go copy the code or the text out of here, and I'll go over to PyCharm. I'll make myself a new project. Let's see, new project, module 06. And let's see here. I think I want to open it up in the current window. And I want to make a new Python file. So I'll go new Python file and call it lab 6-1. Sure I will. There we go. And I'll put the 3 quotes here to make a doc string, and I'll put the instructions in there. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to go through and create some code that performs the action. So for example, I'm going to say that, let's see, 6 is equal to, how about 3 plus 3? I'm going to set up and see what I'm typing here. Okay, that quite simply is kind of a start. I know that what that is going to be, and I want to be able to print out that value, so I could just say print. Oops. Well, that doesn't make any sense right now. Okay, so of course this would work. The only problem is it would always come out the same value, so I want to parameterize it, as I call it. In other words, I make variables for it. So I think I'll call this variable the sum. I think I'll call this one, like, I don't know, number 1, and this one number 2. Now I need to go through and set some values. So number 1 is equal to 3, and number 2 is equal to 3. And now I get the same exact thing, but I've gone through and parameterized it. And of course, I could go through and do the exact same thing on the quotient, product, and the difference. So let's see here. Oh, I need another line of code here. So I'm thinking I want the difference. I'm control dragging. Product, control drag. Quotient, control, left click and drag. Hey, go. Ah, dog it. There we go. Now there's naming conventions that you can use. Right now I started off with lowercase. I've lowered them all. I could also go back and make them all uppercase. It makes no difference, but I should be consistent if I do this. So if I do this, I probably should make this one uppercase, and I should also make these uppercase. Consistency is the most important thing about it. And the only problem is I renamed this, so oops, rename, reference, let's see, Control Shift H. Nope, just Control H. Hey, should be able to rename that. Refactor extract, move, copy, change signature, rename. Why are you out of there? Let's try this. Okay, I'll rename this. Should be able to refactor it. Rename. There we go. And this is going to become N1. Oh, much better. I click, refactor, rename. N2. Most of the development environments will have this. So you can kind of anticipate that it's going to be somewhere where you can rename things. Because a lot of times you'll start typing and you'll realize that you forgot to make the name a particular way, or you want to make them more consistent. Happens all the time. So you can almost always expect there to be something like that. Okay, so I've got the basic functionality down. And now I want to, let's see, I want to print out the sum, the product, the quotient. So print, and I'll print out, oh, what I know, sum of, oops, excuse me. How about this, for values N1 and N2 print the sum is and the differences, and so on. Let's see here. A couple more lines. Control drag. I love that. Okay, this will be difference, that will be product, that will be quotient. So difference, hey, control drag, difference, control drag, hey, come on. I get impatient, I press the control button, I don't hold it down long enough. Okay, and difference, product, quotient. Oh. I think that's going to work. Let's see. Okay, so for values 3 and 3, it looks like I got an extra space in there I don't really want. The sum is 6. Extra space in there I don't want. Difference is 6. Product is 6. Quotient is 6. I think there's some issues with that. So let me change the operators. And try again. Okay, sum is 6. Difference is 0. Product is 9, and quotient is 1. Yeah, that looks right. So I think we're in good shape. So that gives me the basic text, or excuse me, the basic functionality I want to work with. Now the idea is to wrap that up inside of a function. So let's see how we do that. Well, first of all, I'll define a function. And I'll call it something like, I don't know, do math. And I could, quite simply, just put all this code inside of there, and then later on call the do math function. That's not the best way to do it, but as you can see, it does work. Problem is that it'll always go through and use the numbers 3 and in this case 3. So I want to improve this, and I will do so by moving those variables N1 and N2 out as parameters. And now I just pass in some values. and whatever values I pass in, I'll get my results accordingly. So that's a better use of my function. Now these were still variables, they're just now acting as parameters. That was a very long way of doing it. Once you get used to this, you'll just make a function and start adding in code and parameters. But essentially, all you've done was take a block of working code and wrap it up in a capsule. The capsule is the do math function. And now you work with the code inside of it in the abstract. You don't work with the code inside directly. As we continue, we'll see ways of improving that in the upcoming videos. But hopefully that makes sense how I got that answer. Until the next video, see you then.